And away we go. Hi, Tora. You better say hi to your adoring fans, kitty cat. Yes. Ow. Look at that. Such a pretty kitty. I can't sleep. My schedule is totally messed up. I don't know what I did to my back. Ow. Wowzer Bowser. Anyway, it is 2:39 a.m. on November 15, a Monday in 2021. Hi, Howard. You can't sleep either, I guess. Tora says meow. I sleep most of the day. I sleep a few hours at a time, and I can't take the pain pills for my back injury. They make me vomit. I give up. I got generic Aleve, naproxen sodium, which is at work. Oh, wow. You've got a long, long work day, Howard. 4 a.m. to 6 p.m.? That's like 14 hours? Let's see. 4 to noon is 8. Noon to 6. Yeah, 14 hours. The tea kettle's calling me. It'll just take a minute. Hang on. Oh, look out, Tora. Look out, kitty cat. Dum-de-dum, dum-de-dum-de-dum, dum-de-dum, dum-de-dum-de-dum. Okay, look out, Tora. Let me through, kid. Dum-de-dum, dum-de-dum-de-dum. Look out. Oh, anyway, it isn't even a prescription. It's just an over-the-counter aspirin substitute. But it doesn't make me vomit. Mm. And it's anti-inflammatory, which is good because when wounds swell too much, you want to reduce the swelling. It also reduces fever, just like aspirin, I believe. I'm not a doctor, but I know how to use Google. Tora, she comes up to me and paws my leg. And if I don't respond eventually, she might claw the leg of my slacks. Tora. Okay. Let's see what we got for kitty cat. Uh, wow. Hi, Jan. Well, I'm up at 2:45 in the morning. That'll tell you how I'm feeling. My sleep-wake schedule is so messed up. I actually sleep most of the day and part of the night, and it's the back pain. It saps my energy and keeps me awake. Go figure. And the prescription pain pills, all they do is make me vomit. I just can't figure out what happened to my back. I did not fall down. I did not bump into anything. I just got up in the morning and started walking around, and something in my lower back went pop, and it was instant, sharp, burning pain. It is subsiding a bit. Thanks for the prayers, Howard. Either I slipped a disc or a disc that had slipped popped back into place. Or maybe it's a ruptured disc. They took an x-ray at the emergency room. I waited till day 4 to go to the emergency room, and they couldn't do a CAT scan because I couldn't not lie down flat for it. So they took x-rays while I was standing up, and they really wanted a CAT scan or an MRI. So in 2 days, on Wednesday, I get the CAT scan. I guess the the pain isn't as bad. I was able to lie down for a hip x-ray. You know, I broke my hip in August of 2020, so they wanted to x-ray that. But to get a CAT scan locally, you have to make an appointment ahead of time. So I had to wait another week for the CAT scan. Meanwhile, the GP, the doctor, didn't prescribe anything or offer to, and I guess that's okay. No, it's not sciatica, Jan, because that would follow the sciatic nerve down my leg. Hi, Vcan. Oh wow, I can't believe I have an audience in the at for me it's 14 minutes till 3 a.m. I don't know. They don't seem to be in any hurry to fix whatever is wrong with my back. IB Collectibles is here. I guess you all have insomnia except for Viken, who's in a different time zone. Let's see, what's 8 and 3? It's almost 11 in the morning for Viken. There. Anyway, I thought since I could not sleep, I slept a few hours tonight and then woke up. Had to, my bladder insisted. It's off schedule too. Anyway, thought I'd come on and see what happens. It isn't my regular day or my regular time. Once again, I take the prescription pain meds, but I can take the muscle relaxants. I'm rationing them because my doctor didn't renew the prescription didn't renew or refill the prescription that the emergency room doctor gave me. I knew it would be pretty much a waste of time going to the emergency room. I sat there for hours It happened to be a Saturday night, but in my experience, even that doesn't matter. If you aren't bleeding to death, they'll get to you when they get to you. And they couldn't do much for me, but at least I confirmed that it's something serious. Oh, anyway, um, I was going to get some help and move the desk a little and unbox the computer that um, Cardinal Sin, that's the channel here on YouTube, organized a GoFundMe to get me a new computer. And it has arrived, and I thought I should do an unboxing video. But I have been up to dealing with that. I think I can do it this week. As Lord Byron supposedly said, the agony has abated somewhat. According to legend, those were his first spoken words at age 7. They thought he was mute until his parents were holding a party, and he burned his hand on the stove, and one of the ladies was sympathizing with him over the injury, the burn, and supposedly Lord Byron, who had never said a word in 7 years of life, told her, "Thank you, madam, but the agony has abated somewhat." I'm not pain-free, but apparently I can tolerate pain better than most. Uh, hmm. Well, it's AM here, Ken. It just happens to be 3 AM. It's morning by the clock. Anyway, meanwhile, I've been thinking about Psalm 19. I was going to go ahead and do a live show on Sunday about Psalm 19. Now it's Monday, but let's see if my little computer will let me open the psalm and stay on YouTube Live. Here's a link. The ESV, English Standard Version, one of the newer translations. The heavens declare the glory of God, and the sky above proclaims his handiwork. Day to day pours out speech, and night to night reveals knowledge. There is no speech, nor are there words, whose voice is not heard. The voice goes out through all the earth, and their words to the end of the world. In them he has set a tent for the sun, which comes out like a bridegroom leaving his chamber, and like a strong man runs its course with joy. It is rising from the end of the heavens, and its circuit to the end of them, and there is nothing hidden from its heat. I'll stop there for a minute. In other words, if we study the sky, astronomy, this psalm says we find evidence of God. The heavens declare his glory, and the sky proclaims his work, the work of his hands, his handiwork. I found that to be true when I studied astronomy in college. It was the junior college, the 2-year college. And I took 2 semesters of astronomy. And I was amazed at how orderly the universe really is. It doesn't appear to be random. I studied more of biology, the pre-med courses in biology, not the liberal arts and science balance they required for a diploma. What are you doing, Tora? Meow. Tora has been trying to meow. The other kitty, Sweetie, has been teaching her. Aw, Beacon, you're making me blush. Well, anyway, when I studied biology, it became even more clear. Even the simplest one-cell organism, single-cell organism, a bacterium, for example, has all these little machines inside of it. When Darwin wrote his Origin of Species, that wasn't known. He assumed that a cell was just a membrane around a blob of cytoplasm, kind of like a blob of jello. No, there's all these little machines inside every cell. The one exception is your red blood cells. They're pretty much empty, but they are capable of carrying oxygen to and from your lungs, from your lungs to your cells, and then they go back to your lungs. Anyway, it just seemed to me that the things I learned in biology could not possibly have happened by accident or random chance or variation governed by natural selection. And the mathematicians kind of um, topped off the case with evidence that random variations might produce one good protein out of trillions of opportunities to mutate. So, like, overwhelmingly, random variations or mutations overwhelmingly do harm, not good. We see that in what we call birth defects. When you consider all the things that can go wrong in pregnancy and childbirth. It is a miracle that any baby is born healthy. What, Tora? You don't eat pixie sticks, that's candy. I'm down to the purple ones. I don't know what they call them in England. They're filled with something like Kool-Aid powder. Yeah, they're mostly sugar. Cats don't eat sugar. Okay, you finished off the chicken flavored treats. You want some turkey flavor? Oh, there's 2 of these left. Tora's a treat hog. And very persistent. Okay, now let's get to the second half of Psalm 19, starting at verse 7. The law of the Lord is perfect, reviving the soul. The testimony of the Lord is sure, making wise the simple. The precepts of the Lord are right, rejoicing heart. The commandment of the Lord is pure, enlightening the eyes. The fear of the Lord is clean, enduring forever. Well, let's look at the law of the Lord is perfect, reviving the soul. The purpose of the law, according to this psalm, is to revive you, to give you new energy and new life. Okay, now, verse 9, the fear of the Lord is clean, enduring forever. The rules of the Lord are true and righteous together. More to be desired are they than gold, even much fine gold, sweeter also than honey and drippings of the honeycomb. So fear of the Lord is not like, oh my God, I'm scared. It means that you don't want to make him angry. Kind of like the Hulk when he's in his alter ego banner. I forgot the first name. Well, anyway, when he's a human and not the Hulk, he says, don't make me angry. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry. Okay, verse 12. Who can discern his... Oh, well, let's go back to 11. Moreover, by them is your servant warned. In keeping them there is great reward. Who can discern his errors? Declare me innocent from hidden faults. Keep back your servant also from presumptuous sins. Let them not have dominion over me. Then I shall be blameless and innocent of great transgression. Let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in your sight, O Lord, my rock and my redeemer. This is a Psalm of David. Well, so Bruce Banner, thank you, V-Ken. According to some scholars, the Old Testament says nothing about Christ. Well, what is Christ if not the Redeemer? And back into verse 13, then I shall be blameless and innocent of great transgression. How do we become blameless? Well, the old way of old gospel preachers would say you're washed in the blood of the Lamb. It was a custom of the Hebrews, the Israelites, to sacrifice a lamb to God. And Christ is supposed to be the Lamb of God. It's a metaphor. You don't actually have to take some blood and put it all over you. In fact, that would be wrong. But this psalm actually does foretell a Messiah, a Christ who will make us acceptable to God. So we are not condemned for our sins, and nobody is sinless. Right, Torah? Silly cat. I'm thrilled and delighted that I have a good internet connection in the middle of the night. It must mean that there isn't a lot of traffic in my area, so I have a good, solid connection from the cell tower. And I'd better plug in the charger to the hotspot. If it runs out of battery, me. There, here we go. So that's sort of a makeup sermon since I didn't do it on Sunday. Actually, I slept too late, and then I had to watch the Walter Bosley channel because Walter was on live. Yes, Tora, you're cute. No more treats. You've had enough. Ugh. Wow. Wowzer, Bowser. Humph. So anyway, this darn back pain is killing me. I've, had osteoarthritis at least since high school. When I would complain that my back hurt, Mom told me I was lazy. So for a while, I assumed that everyone felt that back pain and they just worked through it. So I tried to work through it. It was a long time before I found out that I had osteoarthritis. And now I'm old. Well, I'm 67, but I intend to get older. But, natural osteoporosis is setting in too. Tora, give it up. I thought cats were nocturnal. Yes, Tora, you're cute. Turns out they're what we call crepuscular. They're most active at dawn and twilight. So what are you doing up at 3 a.m, Tora? Huh? You're supposed to sleep 18 hours a day. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, this morning, Tora has always chirped or squeaked. Hi, Richard. Didn't see you there. And yesterday, of course, I was lying down at the time. I thought a strange cat had wandered into the house. All the doors were shut, and I heard something like a meow. Not quite. And it was Tora. Yeah, trying to meow. I think she must be learning from other cats like Sweetie. Sweetie, who never meowed until Blackie taught her how to meow. Yeah, Sweetie Pie is, she's still feral, but she has the sense to come inside on a cold night. She just won't let me near her. Although sometimes when I'm putting down treats for her, she will brush against my hand. I'm not allowed to touch her. Okay, what? In Poland, Viken? Immigrants used as a weapon from Belarus. I think that's military. Belarus is what we call White Russia. They just did not go along with communism in the revolution and afterward. Apparently, Belarus at this point is a. Oh, I just lost the word. No, I haven't seen what's going on in Poland. I do know that Austria has decided that anyone who is not vaccinated has to stay inside their home. They cannot even go out the front door into their own yard. And apparently, I won't be able to travel because I cannot risk the side effects of the shot. I had one Pfizer shot and it was horrible. I'm not going through that again. And Moderna probably would do the same thing to me. And the Johnson & Johnson can cause blood clots that can kill you. Oh, goody. Ethnic tension in Poland. You know, a great deal of what is Poland now used to be Prussia. A German-speaking country before there was a unified Germany under Kaiser Wilhelm. There was no Germany. There was Prussia, Saxony, Bavaria, Schleswig-Holstein, which is pretty much part of the Netherlands now, and other small duchies, really. They were ruled by dukes. And the Prussians were the most militant, military-minded Germans. Yes, Biden mandate is on pause, but that doesn't mean that the airlines and other transportation companies cannot ban unvaccinated people. It just means they can't be forced to do it. And American Airlines is losing employees because they're enforcing a vaccine mandate. at least our military is not being subjected to the vaccine mandate at this time. That's a good thing. I just don't understand it. They tried masks. It didn't work, so they doubled down. They tried lockdowns. It didn't work, so they doubled down. It's like, oh, this doesn't work. Let's do more of it. Why is everything orange on my computer screen? It doesn't all look orange around me, just in the picture. I guess my lighting is rather dim. Yeah, I long for the days of John Fitzgerald Kennedy, and we thought he was a communist. Ha! Oh, Howard, weekly test and wearing a mask at work. That's horrible. The fact is, in 2020, about 200,000 Americans died from COVID. Now that we have a vaccine, 3 vaccines, maybe 4 or 5, and the restrictions are getting worse, well over 300,000 have died from COVID in the US in 2021, and the year is not over. Democrats, yeah, and Republicans used to disagree, but they were patriotic. No one questioned their loyalty to the Constitution on which our government is based. Yeah, the Democrats don't like what Biden is doing. Only 2 are standing up publicly, but there are more who are just afraid to speak out, and they have cover as long as their names escape me now. As long as those 2 Democrats stand firm, the others don't have to stand up. And so what does the radical left do? They're doxing those 2 senators. But the fact is that the majority of the American people don't want this build back better, spend money we don't have on things we don't want or need plan. Things are getting worse here. You see, when people become complacent when life is easy. And we have it even now easier than most parts of the world. There are places where a mother has to decide which one of her children she will feed today because she can't feed them all. And I can tell you right now, I'll never go hungry. Between the government food stamps, which I didn't even ask for, but they gave them to me, and the churches and other organizations, I'll never run out of food. It might not be what I want, what I like, but it's food and it's nutritious. Oh, globalist. We've been embarrassed on the international stage over and over. If it isn't on purpose, then Biden is doolally. He's nuts, senile, and insane. I can't watch his speeches. I don't have television, but they run clips on YouTube, the various news outlets. And I suppose our network news is you can watch the whole thing on their website, whether it's NBC or ABC or CNN. But I can't watch Biden. His eyes are totally black. There's no iris, no pupil, no white of his eyes. They're just black. He's demon possessed. But I'm sure that it isn't just Biden, it's all the people around him. Even Obama, President Obama warned us that never underestimate Biden's ability to F things up. Well, anyway, we have it pretty good here in the U.S., but they've deliberately reduced our production of energy. Wait until people in colder climates are freezing to death because either heat is not available or they can't afford to pay for it. I'm really into conservation. I use only as much heat and water and light as I need to. But my bills have gone up, in some cases almost double, while I'm using less than last year. I mean, basically, my electricity is a refrigerator and some lights. At the moment, I've got an electric heater running because it's that cold, but it's time to turn that off. So let's do that. I'll leave the gas wall heater on for a bit longer so I don't get too cold. Oh, and the heating pad. Tora thinks it's hers. I have to get a new one. The little control thing that regulates the temperature shorted out. So now it's just a pad. It doesn't heat. So I guess Tora owns it now because it's useless to me. Oh, wow. So anyway, I'm finally starting to get sleepy. Um, Not super sleepy, but a little. Yeah, when Richard, you've got a point. When Biden is energetic and forceful and on seems to be on top of things, although he's just being angry, which, by the way, is one of the signs of uh, Alzheimer's, senility, old brain. He does seem a lot like someone who's on speed. Let's see. Yeah, they're saying that Biden's flatulences um, happening in the most inappropriate places, like with the royal family of England. And it actually, what I heard was that, when he visited the Pope, they suddenly cut the feed. Ordinarily, when a president visits the Pope, they show us the whole thing from when the motorcade arrives until they go into a private chamber away from the press. They just cut the feed all of a sudden. And what I heard was that Biden actually pooped his pants in front of the Pope. They do make adult diapers. If it's that bad, why not? I just hope we can survive long enough to start undoing all this. It's ridiculous. It's insane. Oh, this strategy isn't working. Let's double down and do more of it. They're trying to force reality to conform to their theories, much as the new atheists try to force science and scientific investigation to conform to their belief that there is no God, and they don't even understand that atheism is a faith, a belief system. Oh no, it isn't a faith, it's the truth. Yeah, well, I could say the same about belief in God. And having known really uh, many atheists, quite a few of them turn out to be agnostic. They are not sure that there is no God, but they don't believe there is a God either. But the ones who are firmly atheistic and insist God does not exist are usually people who are angry with God. How could there be a God when there's so much suffering? Well, I don't know. I can't answer that. Ask God. But would it relieve the suffering if there is no God? I don't think so. Oh, yeah. I've been suspecting another war ever since the disastrous withdrawal from Afghanistan. Not only did Biden leave behind Americans, he did not give any warning to our allies, the French, the English, the Germans, who also had civilians there. They just woke up one morning and, oh my God, the troops are leaving. How are we going to get our people? So I suspected that a new shooting war would start in Afghanistan, but it looks like Biden's trying to stir things up in the Pacific, specifically Taiwan. And China's government is, they're doolally, they're nuts. They want to reunify with Taiwan. Well, excuse me, about 1% of the population of Taiwan is Chinese, ethnic Chinese. 1%. It's primarily native islanders and Japanese. The Japanese and Chinese don't get along. You see, Taiwan was Formosa. It was long time ago. It was a Portuguese colony, but for about 100 years in recent history, it was a colony of Japan. I personally knew an excellent sushi chef. Say that 6 times fast. She came from Taiwan, and oh man, her food was awesome. I don't know about Korea, Vegan. The Koreans are really angry with the Japanese over atrocities in World War II. They have not forgotten. But maybe they're ethnic Japanese or mixed race, Korean and Japanese. And there isn't really one Japanese ethnicity because there are different tribes that became part of the unified islands of Japan. But anyway, for example, Okinawa, where we still have a military base. The people of Okinawa come in two ethnic groups. One is Okinawan, the other is Japanese Okinawan. And the Okinawa people who are not part Japanese or not Japanese have a higher social status than those who are Japanese Okinawan. So anyway, you can't reunify with a place that was never part of China. I'm sorry, but China has no claim to Taiwan. And they've already broken all their promises about Hong Kong. The English honored their treaty with China, a treaty that was made with a legitimate elected government, and they gave Hong Kong back to communist China. And China has totally violated their side of the bargain, sending the military to crack down on those people of Hong Kong who actually value liberty. Oh, interestingly, though, the climate, the international climate, whatever, bunch of crooks flying there on private jets to talk about how our SUVs are destroying the earth. They didn't reach their goals because India and China won't let them. India and China both depend upon coal. So, no, we are not going to reduce the the mining and use of coal. Sorry. I didn't pay much attention, but apparently there's some flooding going on in China that has damaged some of their power plants. So they're having power outages, which means factories have to shut down because they don't have any power. And the idiotic policies of the United States have made us so dependent upon products from China. It's pathetic. If they were not trying to destroy America, they sure are doing a good job of it. Oh, but uh, Trump sent out mean tweets, and the usual. Anytime you disagree with the radical left, it's you're a racist, coming from the mouth of a privileged white, childish, spoiled brat. Give me a break. So they call Trump racist, but when Biden uses one of the N words to refer to that famous baseball pitcher, Satchel Paige, oh, that's okay. They don't even notice it. If Trump called Satchel Paige a Negro, he'd be canceled in a New York minute. But it's okay for Biden to say that. And never mind that Biden is buddy with leaders of the Ku Klux Klan. And during the campaign, Biden told a black man, well, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black. In other words, get back on the plantation and do what you're told. Oh, Biden told the. Yeah, I have heard a theory that this thing about Satchel Paige is code for something nefarious, but I don't quite understand it. Something about baseball diamonds. I haven't looked into it very much. But these things come across on the alternative media. Anyway, geez. Apparently, the Biden did talk about Satchel Paige with the Pope. I don't know why. And then we had a talk show host, a radio, I think, talk show host, Larry Elder, running for governor in the recall election. And Larry Elder is black. So, of course, the mainstream media called him the black face of white supremacy. white supremacism. I don't know. It should be supremacy. And it's like you can't win with people who simply memorize the party line and refuse to deviate from it, and any evidence that to the contrary must be a lie or it's racist, so they don't listen. Meanwhile, even now, criminals who are arrested, suspects, innocent till proven guilty, people arrested for looting, shoplifting, and even setting fire to businesses, they get arrested. The district attorneys refuse to prosecute. But oh my, if you walked on the sidewalk outside the Capitol building on January 6th, you're a domestic terrorist and they will track you down. Or if you go to a school board meeting and object to the curriculum, you're a domestic terrorist. We're sicking the FBI on you. Oh, and the NSA as well. White supremacy is a pimple on the face of our culture. Very few people who are mostly harmless. I was a witness. I've told this before. I was a witness in the trial of a gang member who had done a home invasion. Just a witness. And the guy's fellow gang members were trying to intimidate me. Well, they weren't what you usually think of when you say gang. They were Ku Klux Klan. And they didn't actually harm me. They did a lot of threatening, but mostly they kept calling the police, claiming that I was committing crimes. They're wusses. Yeah, the FBI, they're experts at entrapment. They'll infiltrate a group that they consider radical and perhaps criminal, and if that group is not plotting any crimes, the undercover FBI informants and even agents will kind of urge them to commit crimes and come up with plans and so forth. And they become unindicted co-conspirators. I can't stand it. These are the glasses that reduce the blue light, but they're hurting my nose and ears. Oh, yeah. Well, John F. Kennedy promised to destroy the CIA, just tear it down, and somebody killed him. I'm not sure what Richard Nixon did that pissed them off, but they Watergated him. And he fell into the trap by trying to cover it up. But he never was part of the Watergate conspiracy until after the fact, when he tried to cover it up. And then we got Jimmy Carter, who really meant well. At least we didn't get Gerald Ford, who was on the Warren Commission that concluded that Lee Harvey Oswald acted alone and killed President Kennedy, even though Oswald was on the payroll of both the CIA and the FBI. Not an agent, not an employee, but some kind of maybe informant or some kind of operative. In other words, someone in our intelligence agencies was telling Oswald what to do. Let's see. Now, Gerald Ford, there was more to him than just the Warren Commission, but I don't remember it at the moment. But he would have been a very bad choice for president. Jimmy Carter just showed weakness when the Iranian revolutionaries took our embassy staff hostage. And we ended up with gasoline rationing. That's petrol, Viken. Gasoline, gas, petrol. And the price went up to 75 cents a gallon. And I didn't know whether I could afford it. Well, now here in California, in some places it's $6 or $7 a gallon. In most places it's a little over $5 a gallon. And our wages haven't gone up that much. Ronald Reagan, I have a feeling that Reagan was doing a good job until they shot him. And then he just got in line with the crooks and criminals and traitors. And both the George Bush's bookends got us into wars that we had no business fighting. Osama bin Laden was in Pakistan, but we made war against Iraq and Afghanistan. Go figure. Chris Rock. I had no great love for the Clinton administration. At least they did not manage to pass Hillary Care. They wanted to, in the 90s, they wanted to put everyone on something like Medicare. Everybody. Now, I have no great love for the insurance companies. I think insurance is a racket. They take your money, invest it, make a fortune, and when you have a claim, good luck. But I'm sure the government couldn't do a better job. The government's even better at taking your money and giving you nothing. Then what did we get? The other Bush. Bush baby. Did I get the webcam okay? Yeah, yes, Cardinal Sin. I thought I emailed you that I got the webcam. As soon as I can manage it physically with this back thing, I'm gonna set up the I'm gonna unbox and set up the computer. Oh, got eye itchies. I'm waiting for the cat hair screens now. I'll get a ride to the post office today and see if they've arrived. I had no idea those existed. I used to just Mickey Mouse something to keep cat hair out of the computer. Oh, yeah, Judith Ferry Baker's book. I haven't read the book, but I've read her posts on social media and, of course, reviews of her book. Oswald apparently um, was more than one person. It was like the Bourne identity, the Oswald identity. I mean, there was an original Lee Harvey Oswald, but when his mother looked into the coffin right before it was buried, she said, "This is not my son." And she refused to say anything more. When the reporters asked her, "Well, what do you mean? You know, is he literally not your son, or are you disowning him?" She wouldn't say. Well, operatives for the CIA, FBI, NSA, or any of those alphabet agencies will use identities so that while they're working, they're somebody else. And when they go home, nobody knows that they were this other identity. It's common practice. And then someone else will use the same phony identity. And it seems to me that that is what happened with Oswald. There was one original, real Lee Harvey Oswald, but there were others using his identity. Let's see. After Clinton, we got Bush baby and 9/11. We were in shock. When I went to the market or the post office, everyone was very quiet and subdued. It was just a major shock. We had not been attacked on our own soil since the War of 1812. I guess you might count the Civil War, but that was internal. And that was still more than 100 years ago. Yeah, I tried to warn everyone who would listen about the first George Bush. Yeah, I realized. I think his opponent was Duke Majan. Anyway, some Democrat. And I tried to warn people. I don't care who's running against him. We do not want a CIA man in the Oval Office. George H.W. Bush was head of the CIA before he became Reagan's vice president. But, he said, read my lips, no new taxes. And then he caved and signed the bill from Congress that increased taxes. So, of course, he lost to Bill Clinton. Oh, then we got 8 years of Obama, and it wasn't as bad as many people feared. But he ruined medical care for many people because we were required to have insurance. Well, I couldn't. I had been paying cash whenever I saw my doctor. But if it was like, if you don't get health insurance, you have this penalty on your income taxes. And I could not afford that penalty. So I ended up on the state Medicaid program. In California, it's Medi-Cal. Well, my doctor did not accept Medi-Cal, and the state government was keeping an eye out that if you paid cash to see your doctor, they would assume that you didn't need Medicaid, and they'd kick you off of it. You'd be without insurance, and then get hit with this huge penalty on your income taxes. Oh yeah, forgot about that, Ken. The FBI raided the home and office of an attorney who is part of Project Veritas. I think he's the CEO, and I've forgotten his name. They, since then, have been ordered by the court to stop going through the info on that lawyer's phones. He had several phones because it's privileged attorney-client information. But in the meantime, the FBI had gone through hundreds, maybe thousands of phone calls and text messages and leaked that information to the media, potentially compromising legal cases, civil and criminal legal cases. What was the crime of Project Veritas? Well, apparently, some of that attorney's clients were connected to Trump. And I don't understand it, but the whole purpose of our federal law enforcement and investigative agencies seems to be to get Trump, and never mind that our cities were burned and looted, and people were attacked, beaten, in some cases killed, for no reason, just for existing, for being in the wrong place at the wrong time. Wow. Well, the only reason I'm on right now is because I have insomnia due to back pain. But I'm glad to see I have so many here with me. However, I am finally getting sleepy, so maybe it's a good time to say good night. I should point out, though, that we Americans are very good at rolling up our sleeves and getting things done. It's incredibly painfully slow, but things are beginning to happen. The Durham investigation has resulted in three arrests. And I suppose you could call those people small fish, but that's how this investigation is proceeding, climbing up the chain, starting with the small fish and working their way up to the big ones. And it seems to point at Hillary Clinton and the Clinton Foundation and the deleted emails that just kind of went nowhere. I guess they're really pissed off that Trump beat Hillary. It was her turn to be president. Well, the American people had a different idea. That election was basically anybody but Hillary. You could hear it in her speeches. Everything was I, my, me, mine, my turn. And her opponent had the brains and the heart to say, you, we, us, our country, our turn. And whether sincere or not, it was the message people needed. I do worry about they say that Hitler had many people killed, and that if you became an attorney for the Clintons, you'd better have a good life insurance policy because your days are numbered. Anyway, see, I'm reading the chat, and it's distracting me. Anybody who would bring us together the way Trump did in that 2016 election was a good medicine for Americans. Thanks, Howard. I'll try to have a good rest. Now, the candidate who claimed he would bring us together has us more divided than ever. They just don't get it. I don't care about your race, religion, ethnicity, education, shape, size, color. I don't care. Either I like you or I don't. And that's based on your behavior, your words, your deeds, your attitude. I don't ask about politics. I mean, for most people, it's right out front. You know they're a liberal or you know they're a conservative. But I don't know how many people have insulted me by calling me a Republican. I didn't leave the Republican Party. I never was in it. And even the Republicans seem to have left all ordinary working class Americans in the gutter. It's time to get rid of the rhinos, Republican in name only. And it's time to for the Democrats to get rid of the people who are off in la la land. So we can come together and fix this mess that we're in. So I've been asking people to pray for me because of my back pain, but we need to pray for this nation and the whole world because it looks like the Biden administration is going to get us into a war in the Pacific. They've got to get us into a war somewhere. Or they're doomed. And they're probably doomed anyway, even if they manage to start a war. The American people, the vast majority of us who have been trampled on by the entitled elite, we've had it. We want a government that works for us, not a government where you go into office, maybe you're worth $1 million already. But after you've been in office for a few years, you're worth 10 million, 20 million, 30 million. That's you, Nancy Pelosi, one of the biggest crooks in the world. Look what she did to San Francisco. People who can flee San Francisco have fled or are fleeing. They've turned a beautiful tourist town and center of business and banking into a cesspool where they don't even have a Walmart anymore or a Walgreens because there's been so much shoplifting. I call it looting. They go in with big trash bags and fill them up and walk out, and even the security and the police aren't allowed to do anything. It isn't a crime anymore. The stores are just closing, boarding up, and leaving. Oh, and her best friend Kamala Harris, who did nothing good for California. Nancy Pelosi apparently is drunk all the time. That's what they say. And she sure looks like it when she gets up to the podium to talk to the press. She looks and sounds like a drunk. And you know what they say about the vice president? The purpose of the vice president is impeachment insurance. However, at least Kamala Harris can put one sentence together. I hope things shake out and shape up in 2022. I wish they could shape up, and shake out right now or a year ago. I wasn't that thrilled with Trump. He surrounded himself with hacks who really did not have our best interests at heart. But at this point, I think whoever gets the Republican nomination next time is going to win. Even if Satan himself, the devil, ran against a Democrat, the devil would win. Because at least he's an honest crook. Oh, I have to, what do you call it? Moderate a comment. Okay, I have to hide that, Vegan, to protect my channel, but yeah, where'd it go? It disappeared. Okay, message retracted. I totally agree. We've got Joe Biden keeps pulling out his son Beau. He did not die in combat. Beau died, I think, of a heart attack, something like that, or a stroke after he came home. And why do I keep blanking? The speed freak son who paints with a straw. And oh, that's what it was. Project Veritas had possession of the diary of Biden's daughter. They decided to just give it to the police because they suspected it was stolen property. But that wasn't good enough. Gotta have the FBI and the CIA and the NSA going after Project Veritas. Brain cancer. Thank you, Howard. Beau Biden had brain cancer. Oh, Hunter Biden. Hunter's not his real name, it's a nickname. I forget what his real first name is. Man, what a family. See, money can't buy you happiness. Anyway, I could use some money just to pay the bills. That would make me happy. And I'm aware that George H.W. Bush was in Dallas and was working for the FBI when JFK was shot. But he doesn't remember where he was that day. Well, V, can you remind me of that movie Predator where this alien hunts humans? And Arnold Schwarzenegger says, let's hunt him. See how he likes it. Anyway, yeah, I am getting loopy and tired, which is a good thing because I have to get some sleep so I can face the day. Thanks, everyone. And have a great Yay. What the heck? I have to fix the weird typos. Yeah, I hope you all sleep well whenever that is. For Viken, it's quite a few hours off. Have a great day and bless you. God bless us all. Bye.